What I love showing is that there are people on MSNBC who will actually come out and tell the truth and explain the Donald Trump phenomena to people. And here's Chris Matthews. He did it in 2016 on election night. He told people why Donald Trump actually got elected. Instead of this fevered dream of racism and half the country turned into racist after they voted for Barack Obama overwhelmingly 2 times in a row. What happened was, well, let's watch. Here, I'll show you.
That's Brian. Was designed to change the behavior of white people, to tap into a type of white vote, an enthusiasm among white voters that was going to obliterate anything you might otherwise need to get from people of color. I mean, we do have Clinton underperforming Barack Obama with Latinos. We have Clinton underperforming Barack Obama with African Americans, although that was expected. What we've got, though, the biggest number and the biggest thing that explains how Trump could maybe win the presidency with only 29% of the Latino vote is that he's spiked white vote. He has figured out a way to do that. And that has always been the far right's dream, that you could figure out a way to do it without minorities. In fact, you could figure out a way to do it on the backs of minorities by threatening minorities in a way that make a lot of people uncomfortable. But
I find your eyelashes threatening. How about that?
That does awaken something, basically that's racial anxiety among whites, and that's how you win. That's been a dream on the far right.
So somebody interrupt her. It's all racism. It's all white racism. That's all it is. Even though right now Trump is winning with Latinos. Did you know that? And he's got more Latino votes than Joe Biden. And here, watch this. Chris Matthews is going to actually lay some truth on them. Listen to this.
And culture dream of white turnout.
Well, let me give the other version of that notion. And it is that the 3 issues that he tapped into, trade, immigration, and wars, I think he's on the popular side of. I think the country hates all these wars. The establishment in both parties has been supporting those wars, including Hillary. The fact we don't have an immigration system that we enforce. Business doesn't want one because they want the cheap labor. Democrats want the jobs and want the votes. Nobody's gotten it together. In terms of trade, the fact is, a good part of the states we're looking at tonight, just drive through Michigan, drive through Wisconsin, and you'll see places that are hollowed out. There's nothing left. There used to be a Blockbusters movie place to get videos. They're gone. Now nothing's left but the diner. That's all that's left to hold the community together. And so Trump said, you know what? I think I can run against this stuff. And he put it together. And I think it was a legitimate campaign on those issues. I mean, I never heard Hillary railing against these stupid wars. I never heard Hillary railing genuinely against these trade deals. She came out against TPP at the very end, and nobody really believed it. And I never heard her really come out for a comprehensive immigration program, which included enforcement on illegal hiring, and actually put it together. Sure, she went out and got Latino votes, but did she ever come out for a sound, workable, progressive enforcement?
That's Rachel Maddow looking at him as if to say, I'm sorry, Chris, but we're going to have to hashtag me too you now. Because that's what they did to him after he did that. So that's the end of that clip. That is exactly what the fuck was going on. And nobody wanted to hear that. Hey, you know what? The middle of the country's been gutted and hollowed out economically. The country's sick and tired of these fucking endless wars. And Trump ran on an anti-interventionist platform. And he's the only president in my lifetime didn't start another fucking war. He wants an orderly border. This is things everybody wants. And Chris Matthews says it. The business wants the open border because we can get cheap labor and suppress everybody's wages. And the Democrats want it because they get more votes. He spit it out perfectly there, and they just memory hole that. They fire that fucking guy, and they just go right on talking about racism, white supremacy, and all that shit. And the real reason that a lot of the Bernie voters in Iowa then voted for Trump was because of the shit that he just said.
Yeah.
And they won't address it. They won't the last thing the Democrats will do is actually go out and help people. Make sure people get health care that doesn't bankrupt them. End those fucking wars and invest that money back here. Give people a living wage. Give people a college education that doesn't put them under mountains of debt. Fix the homeless problem. Clean up our streets. Make it safe for people. They won't fucking do anything. They will clean up San Francisco when the president of China comes in, but they won't fucking do it for you. And maybe they should do that.
I like they couldn't. She goes, somehow Trump figured out how to get
Yeah.
Somehow he figured out they don't want to be called latinx anymore.
Watching Rachel Maddow go off on white people as she is a white person is unbelievable to me. And basically what the news is the extremely wealthy pay rich white people or rich people to convince the middle class that poor people are the problem.
That's right.
That's exactly what is happening right there.
And what I've always told people, if you find yourself being angry at someone lower on the economic ladder than you, pretty good chance you're being manipulated by someone higher on the economic ladder than you. And it's your billionaire-owned media and your controlled politicians. And, when Chris Matthews, the big thing he said there, when he said stupid wars, and you can insult the voters, but you could not insult their advertisers. And
that's racist against wars.
That was racist against wars.
Wow, that's amazing.
You talk about that with Phil Donahue. That's what Phil Donahue did, and then
Phil Donahue came out and against the Iraq War and told the truth about it, and a memo got released. Hey, we got to get rid of Phil Donahue. He's bad for our brand during a war. Also, that was at the time NBC was owned by General Electric, which was a defense contractor. But now they just get advertised by him, by Boeing and all those places. Yeah, and so that's the whole. It's all about money, and you can't say what he said, or you're going to get kicked off. And he got kicked off, wasn't it? And it was weird. Like it came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, he was there. The next day, he was gone, and nobody knew what the fuck happened. And it wasn't like Chris Matthews became a different guy overnight. He's the same guy he's always been. They loved him for 20 years until he started telling the truth and he started calling wars stupid. And then you got to go, buddy. Okay, all right.
Wow.
Here's the thing about, this is my opinion on Trump, is like if you take a look at like his real history in like New York, there's some shady shit, right? But the way I see Trump is I see Trump as like Godzilla, right? Like Godzilla's origin story is that he just fucks up Tokyo, right? Just fucks it up, and everyone's like, "Bad Godzilla," And then all these other monsters start coming, and then they realize, "Oh fuck, we might need Godzilla, right? Because Godzilla might be our only hope against these other fucked up people, right?" That's how I see Trump.
I'm buying those Trump shoes now.
Hey, it's just a sign of the hopelessness in the electorate. Because to me, the thing is, you have a guy, Trump, who listened to every wrong fucking person.
Omarosa?
He listened to everybody and did the lockdown list and he didn't trust his gut. Because even back in November of 2019, when this all stuff was coming, I remember him just starting to hedge like, I don't know, but he just gave in and listened to the wrong fucking people.
Bullshit!
He listened to the wrong people.
Who did he listen to?
Fauci.
He listened.
He gave him a medal.
Fucking setting him up, man. He knows what's going on.
He didn't set him up.
That's the guy with the cardboard Trump figure. The man is here. Oh my God.
Would anybody not be a fucking Trump fan? You're fucking retarded.
Okay.
This guy's great. That went from exciting to weird really quick.
He listened to Bill Gates. Bill Gates. Now I know him.
He gave him money.
When RFK Jr. had him, when RFK Jr. had Trump talked into setting up a vaccine Senate panel to investigate them, Trump went along with RFK Jr. and then he talked to Bill Gates, and Bill Gates talked him out of doing it. That's what he's talking about.
That's because he's exposing these motherfuckers. He knows what's going on.
Well, I think now he does. I think now. I think now.
I love that passion.
I think now
that
Trump got his mind right, and he did figure out that all those guys were fucking him.
He's still taking credit for the virus.
But he still wants credit for the vaccine.
He's going, I developed that, and I.
Wait, Omarosa was part of the plan?
He's not.
It's coming to the wash, man.
Okay.
You guys are gonna know that.
Okay.
This guy's great.
The fucking way to go. Who the fuck else are you gonna vote for?
Okay, then say that. Don't say that other shit.
Okay, hold on, real quick.
Say that.
Here's how I see Trump.
That's not regulation, MAGA hat. I can see from here. That is green, sir.
I got one in the car, but it's St. Patrick's Day.
It's St. Patrick's Day, MAGA.
So let me just say this. I mean, we can really go down
a
list of things that Trump did. We can do it, dude. I mean, it's just, we got to be able to be honest with, if we can point out Joe Biden's bullshit, we should be able to point out Trump's, okay?
Or we can calm the fuck down and do the show.
Yeah. Here's how I see
also do that.
Can I just say this? I see Trump as a crime lord, as a crime boss. And he's coming from New York City real estate, which is some of the most corrupt shit out there. And he just represents a group that wants to come in and get hold of he's a nationalist and he cares about America, but there's also a game being played. And he's fighting what I call the George Bush death cult, which is George Bush Sr., all these people, Biden, Hillary Clinton, all them, they're under the George Bush death cult, and they're trying to, and he's just fighting for the person. It's remember like
look, there's no help coming. It's over.
It's possible, but it's like Brewster's Millions, where the two corrupt.
No, there's no hope. No.
Okay.
It's all collapsing.
Hey, come see us do a live stand-up show. We're going to be in Stockholm, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, London, Oslo, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Cortland, New York, Oakmont, Pennsylvania, El Paso, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Edmonton, Alberta, Vancouver, British Columbia, and Denver, Colorado. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.